The big open single-seater championship returned to a gated Mondello for its third round of 2020, hosted by the Leinster Motor Club, just before high noon on Sunday the 13th of September. Well laid out queuing protocols were followed for vehicles entering the site, and personnel had to progress through a temperature check in the museum before registering and entering the paddock area. The Formula Boss Ireland Series drivers will be joined in the afternoon by some other fast single-seaters in a non-championship race for the Leinster Trophy. Qualifying for both races took place in a big half-hour session first thing in the morning on a slightly green track, with drivers' first best time counting for the championship race and second for the trophy race. With 21 cars out qualifying, this was to be a hectic session. With the safety car period in the middle, it was a real challenge for everyone to get in 2 good times. Colm Hines didn't manage to get out at all with the Reynard F3000 car and would have to start behind the grid. Championship leader and multiple UK F3 Cup champion Cian Carey declared his intent with pole position, but with round 1 winner Paul O'Connell alongside him for the first race, it looked like we were heading for a showdown. We caught up with Cian just after the qualifying session.
It was a long qualifying session, 30 minutes. Disappointed really in my lap. There was definitely a lot more time in it, but I just got caught up with traffic. But nonetheless, we're starting on pole, best position for the race, so hopefully get a good start and lead away from the front.
Back in July, the F3 driver had told us that it was partly opportunity to race for the Leinster Trophy that had attracted him to the Boss Series.
Yeah, that's really what I'm racing this year. It's the biggest race of the season, so it'll be unbelievable to get my name on that for a second time, and that's going to be the aim this weekend.
Paul O'Connell told us why he'd chosen to drive the F3 Delara instead of the World Series car.
We've never raced it. I was really curious. My championships sort of after the stalling in the start. The last race, my championship's kind of up in smoke anyway, so I said, why not take it out and see what it can do in the tight confines of Mondello Park, and it's going quite well actually.
He had a lot of work to do to convert the car from a European hill climb setup to a race spec, but was looking forward to the racing.
Can't wait for the racing though. The racing will be good fun with Cian and Luca Allen. Like, how did we get Luca Allen out here? Like, it's brilliant. And Barry Rabbit, of course, and Fergus Fardy and all the rest of the vultures that are there. There are 22 entries on the grid for today, which is unheard of really in recent years.
Speaking of Luca Allen, the reigning Southeast Asia Formula 4 champion was very glad to get the opportunity to race again on home ground after a long break.
It's a great weekend, obviously to be back racing after I think it was 9 months, and a car like this. Thanks very much to Paul for letting me use his Delara F3 car, which is great fun, and a bit of work as well to drive around a track like this, but yeah, no, really enjoying it.
It's great that the Boss Series is giving career drivers opportunity to get mileage in these times of restricted travel.
Well, it just seemed the obvious choice for me with seeing as I'm racing F3 in Japan this year, so I thought there's no better way to get a bit of experience. A track like Mondello, I mean, very, very physically demanding, and a car like this as well, it's the perfect kind of practice I need before I head out to Japan.
Fergus Farty was a little bit disappointed with 6th on the grid for the first race.
Wasn't that happy with that. I thought we'd do better, I thought we'd be up another row at least anyway, so we're working on that to try and get a bit better for the next 2 races.
He'll be starting beside Sylvie Mullins as good and has an interesting start strategy.
Yeah, big monster Judd, so
Have you got earplugs?
I have a toad open me, but I have a hook in it to try and catch him,
Last year's Leinster Trophy winner Barry Rabbit, who's currently second in the 2020 championship, revealed how challenging it is to try and develop his car with work demands between races and now a compacted calendar.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy work-wise, so we literally unloaded the car from the truck into the garage after the last race. We did touch it, we got a little bit optimistic and took the gearbox off it, the whole back end off it, in the hopes to fit the new engine that we're hoping to run for next year, the turbo engine, but just as normally aspirated. And we took the back end of it off, and then just work went crazy, and we only put the back end of it back onto it, on the existing engine, so it was a complete waste of time. We only did that last night.
He was on the back foot trying to set up the car during the race day, including checking corner weights.
No testing, no setup. Yeah, the last time I drove this track was in the wet, the Leinster Trophy last year, so look, it hasn't changed. It's still a right-hander and then a left-hander and whatever comes after it, so we're alright.
This was the grid for the championship race. Paul O'Connell made a great start from the outside of the front row, with Barry Rabbit virtually getting a toe to the first corner, nosing ahead of Carey momentarily before Cian edged back ahead, with Luca maintaining a safe distance just behind him. On the racing line, Rabbit slipped through on turn 2. Faherty had to release his grappling hook on Mullins by the second corner and let the Gould driver go. John Stewart was dropping back, clearly with a problem. And Gary Graham, who had started from the pit lane with a starter problem, was a long way back. Further out on the lap, Paul O'Connell had begun suffering ignition problems and was dropping back. And Barry Rabbit had taken the lead with Cian Carey second and Luca Allen third. Sylvie Mullins was a little bit further back in fourth, with Fergus Faherty challenging him. Colin Blackburn just passing the Ailing O'Connell up to 6th from an 8th place start. Further back, Morgan McCourt had overtaken Colm Hines. The F3000 car struggling to put down its power. Gary Graham had a lot of ground to make up in this pristine Formula Renault. Mark Dempsey in the OMS Hayabusa was struggling for grip, but running a bit better than in July. John Stewart just made it back to the pit lane with his issue before being caught by the new leader, Cian Carey, followed by a late-braking Luca Allen, who'd also passed Barry Rabbit. Now coming under big pressure from Sylvie Mullins, but this would be short-lived when the Goulds suffered an electrical issue later in the lap. Tom Cochran in the Radical SR8 was moving up ahead of Shane Rabbit, showing the cornering discrepancy between the sports car and the single-seater, to Joe Courtney's advantage behind. Eamon Matheson in the Jade Honda Turbo had taken 12th off Peter Dwyer's Lola Nissan V6. Morgan McCourt was now well clear of Colm Hines, the Lola looking quite a handful. It wasn't for the want of trying that Gary Graham was behind the field, locking up here. Mark Dempsey was finally getting some reliability from his car. He can build from here. At the start of lap 4, Carey was starting to compound his lead from Allen. Rabbit looked secure in third ahead of Fergus Faherty's fourth. Fifth place was looking less secure for Colin Blackburn as Michael Roach was closing on him. This was the last we'd see of Paul O'Connell in this race. Tom Cochran would move up to 7th, but Courtney had him in his sights. Shane Rabbit was losing grip just behind. Dwyer still following Matheson. McCourt was settling into 12th position in the Leastone. Colm Hines was using the full width of the track in the Reynard. It's cars like this that give Boss Racing its unique character. Gary Graham was still flying quite solo, but seemed to be working his car well in great conditions. The safety car came out at the start of lap 5, so maybe this would give Graham a chance to catch up. The running order was Cian Carey, Luca Allen, Barry Rabbit, Fergus Faherty, 4th, Mark Dempsey a lap down, Michael Roach 5th, Colin Blackburn 6th, Tom Cochran 7th, Joe Courtney 8th, Shane Rabbit 9th, Eamon Matheson 10th, Peter Dwyer 11th, Morgan McCourt 12th, Colm Hines 13th, Gary Graham 14th and making ground. safety car remained out for lap 6, but we started racing again for 7 and Luca was much closer to Cian again. Barry Rabbit and Fergus Faherty had maintained their distance, but Colin Blackburn looked eager to get close to Michael Roach's gearbox, with Tom Cochran ready if he made a mistake. Shane Rabbit was trying to take a look around Joe Courtney. Peter Dwyer looked set to continue his challenge on Eamon Matheson, and Hines was back behind McCourt. Gary Graham finally had company, and Mark Dempsey was happy to be completing a race again after a tough meeting back in July. Lap 8 would be the final lap, and Kerry had a comfortable lead over Allen. Rabbit looked set for a podium, and fourth looked safe for Faherty. Roach was going to the flag with 5th, and Colin Blackburn was 6th. Courtney had just made it past Cochran for 7th place. Shane Rabbit 9th, with Eamon Matheson 10th. Could he hold Dwyer to the end? McCourt was 12th. Graham made it up to 13th from Colin Hines' 14th. Dempsey was the only one to drop a lap, but was making progress, running to the end. So the checkered flag came out for Cian Carey for the second time in this 2020 Boss Series. The finishing positions were as follows. And here are the championship positions after 3 rounds, with a further 4 to go. Back in the pit lane, we asked Michael Roach, was he happy with his race?
Didn't make a great start, but I started 7th on the grid and finished 5th, so happy enough. Lap times were okay. I do a bit away from the lads, but still happy enough.
We also asked about his qualifying session, where his second best time qualified him for 6th on the Leinster Trophy grid.
It was okay, even it was hard enough to get a clean lap, but I know it's okay, happy enough. You know, everyone is out there trying, but it's good crack. I'm enjoying it so far, and no hassle, the car's going good, so it's up to me to get the best out of it.
Sylvie Mullins was back in the Gould, but things hadn't gone well in qualifying.
Yeah, I'm always looking for excuses, but we were here testing Friday, and the car actually was flying Friday. Very good, and we were on old rubber, and we bolted on super softs for the qualifying, and they were crap. I understeered, so we changed back onto race rubber, and it improved.
Then there were new problems in race 1.
My battery has failed in the race, it just went completely blank. So I'm trying to get a battery organised. I have a couple of batteries here, but I just don't trust them that they'll keep me going for 20 minutes either. So that's where we're at now at the minute, just trying to get a battery sorted.
6th place Colin Blackburn explained a bit about the characteristics of his motorcycle engine, Leastone.
It's really fast through the corners, and it seems to keep up with the lads through the corners, but the lads are a lot quicker on the straight, obviously.
He too had a challenging qualifying session and would start the afternoon race in 8th.
Yeah, there was a good bit of traffic. Only got 2 clean laps in. But they were okay laps, so yeah, we're happy enough for 2 clean laps we got in, but the rest of it was just traffic everywhere and yellow flags and stuff, so we didn't get the maximum out of the car.
Joe Courtney was very disappointed with his 9th place in qualifying.
Qualifying was slower than I was on Friday on practice on old tyres, so could not get the back end of the car to keep it straight, basically oversteer City. So Kamen was doing a few changes and then found that there was 30 psi in the back left tyre. My own fault, can't blame anyone else, but it pretty much ruined qualifying.
He had enjoyed the dice with Tom Cochran though.
We actually had some great racing in race 1. Myself and Tom, the Radical, and a few other guys. It's, they're completely different machines, but it's
I really enjoyed that bit of it now, yeah.
Tom, finishing in 8th, was having a much better day than he'd had back in July, where he'd retired from both races with driveshaft problems.
Car went well in race 1, happy with where we finished, so now we're good for race 2 and happy enough for it, you know? So tyres are going off, that's the only problem we've got, but we can live with that. You know?
10th on the grid for race 2 would put him in a good position for a repeat performance of the morning.
I mean, the target was get a finish in race 1, which we got, and we done well in Boss 1, we got first and 8th overall. Can't honour that with this car. And then if we could do the same in race 2, I'll be over the moon.
9th in race 1, we asked Shane Rabbit about his qualifying that had earned him 11th for both races.
Qualifying went well. We qualified 11th. Still kind of the first real session in the car. We never got to test, unfortunately, on Friday, so it's the first proper session I've had in the car with it working, and getting quicker and quicker, but the tyres started to go off, so 11th is the best we could do.
What was his plan for the trophy race?
Plans to make a good start. Made a great start in race 1, got a couple of positions. Unfortunately, started to fall back a bit though as the tyres went off, so Barry donated a set of tyres to me to stop me giving out pretty much, so I've no excuses now.
There were some disgraceful mutterings about age from across Peter Dwyer's shared garage, from those who were all talk when the camera is off them.
Team over 50 plus was called here in this garage.
Both car and driver were immaculately turned out and had graced the top 10 in race 1.
Be alright, Peck, don't mind them, they're picking at you.
He'd had a nice dice with Eamon Matheson in the first race.
I can almost keep with Eamon Matheson. I can be quicker than Eamon around the corner, but Eamon will go by me on the straight again. So, yeah, 460, 470 brake horsepower, big rubber, it works.
In the Matheson garage, we discovered that Eamon is a tough taskmaster with his crew.
Eamon, what are you telling these guys to do?
After a bit of a chat, we discovered why Eamon wasn't doing his usual first lap launch to the front row.
Shocks, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Too hard.
Okay.
It's not going down.
Are you able to soften them up?
No, shocks. The shocks are boiled.
Really?
Yeah, I got 2 months heat in them.
And did that happen just today now, or has that happened over a few races?
3 races. I'd say over the 3 races.
Yeah. So,
They need more money. Well, we'll get her ready. We'll get her out for the next one.
Morgan McCourt was looking forward to the afternoon race in the 1000cc Leastone, which had earned 12th place in race 1.
Like most of the lads, there's been very little racing all season and stuff, so looking forward to it now. Went okay in race 1, I'm towards the bottom end of the grid, but that doesn't bother me. There's always some cars to compete against, and I'm going quicker than I was in qualifying and in testing on Friday, so that's always a bonus, yeah.
He commented on the great conditions we were enjoying in mid-September.
Fantastic, yeah. Indian summer, I'm not very good driving in the wet, so it's nice to have it nice and dry.
Gary Graham had a good day back in July with a top 10 finish. It wasn't going so well now in September.
A bit behind today, yeah. We waiting on parts during the week for the car. They only arrived in on Friday, so it's the last minute dash to get the car ready, and then we came out this morning and we had a problem with the starter motor. So unfortunately I have to start from the pit lane today for actually both races.
Nonetheless, he was optimistic about the second race.
But I'm hoping out sort of that the next race might be good, like at least might get a dice with someone and have a good bit of crack.
Cullum Hines with the mighty Formula 3000 Reynard had missed out on the qualifying session, which led to an interesting race without setup time on the car.
I was never do qualifying because we found a fault with the car and we took us a bit longer than I would have liked to fix, and therefore had to start at the back of the grid. So the race itself was very eventful. Got my brake bias completely wrong and overheated the front brakes, went straight on in a couple of places. So I seemed to spend nearly more time off the track than on the track. That's how it felt. But look, managed to finish the race anyway and brought her home clean. So hopefully now I can be more mentally ready for the next race and we'll see how we go. But I'll be starting from the back again and that's fine.
He also told us a bit of the car's history.
Yeah, so it's a 1988 Reynard Formula 3000. I bought it about 5 years ago, and I bought it as a chassis and an engine that had never been in it. So I fitted the engine. I honestly can't remember which year it was, but I just do a few races every year. It's probably the oldest car in the grid here, I'm not sure, but it's a pretty historic model, I suppose. This particular model car, the likes of Martin Donnelly, John Lacey, people like that drove it. So it was the first F3000 car that Reynard actually built with this 88D Reynard.
Mark Dempsey was getting much better reliability from his car.
I know the car's going a lot better. It's very slippy out on the international part. I haven't done it in 5 years. Well, I was a bit green at it, but no, just have no grip in tyres. But sure, we'll give it a go anyway. I'm out for the second race, happy enough just to get new tyres out for the next day and see how it goes, so far. So I'm happy, but I'm not happy, if you know what I mean,
He was really looking forward to being a part of the Leinster Trophy race.
See how it goes in the Leinster Trophy. I'm looking forward to the Leinster Trophy. A lot of good cars out here. So nice to be back up here again,
A mechanical problem on the start of the first race set John Stewart an interesting challenge: to complete the entire international track in first gear before he got lapped.
Apparently over-revved the car in first gear, which locked me out of all the other gears. So I managed to complete the first lap and get back into the pits before the pack caught me. But not a good day, really. We've had the insides out of the gearbox, but we haven't managed to sort it.
Luckily, the over-revving doesn't seem to have affected the engine.
Well, apparently this is something a Formula Renault can do if you over-rev it in first. I wasn't aware of that, and wasn't really aware that I was over-revving, but apparently it was.
Derek Daly wasn't happy with his qualifying session.
Very poor this morning. I was having vibration in the steering wheel. I don't know what the story is there, but hopefully we'll rectify it. So I hadn't it sorted for the first race, but all going well. We'll do okay in the Leinster Trophy. That's the big one. So
the problem seemed to be wheel balance, but with limited facilities available in these restricted times, there wasn't much he could do.
I'd say it's wheel balance, yeah, and there's no one around here to balance the wheels, so all we do is chance it, and well and good, hopefully it'll work out.
Brendan O'Brien was one of the visitors to the series for the day. He retired early from the first race, but had qualified 14th on the grid for the Leinster Trophy in a 1000cc Leastone. Richard Carney was out especially for the trophy race in the afternoon in his Formula Shane.
I'm actually a bit higher up than I thought I'd be, to be honest with you. Look, I think we're 13th or 14th, and realistically that's as good as that car. Like it's only a 1.8 150 brake horsepower Formula Shane. Fair enough, we put slicks on it. She's going a bit faster than she normally would, but I think the position she's in, I'd be happy enough with it. We're sort of real outside chance, but if we could finish 10th or a little bit better, that'd be a real good result for us.
But something odd had happened towards the end of the qualifying session, which was unnerving.
On the last lap of qualifying, we had a loss of power. We haven't really put our finger on it. We've just done the normal checks and checked over, the usual stuff, and we can't really find anything wrong. So I'm hoping there might have been a bit of fuel surge, maybe. All we can do now is just take our chances and hope it stays okay for the race.
Richie Adams is another Shane driver, running more to the class spec and just looking for a bit of extra mileage this year.
Yeah, it's tough to keep up anyway. But no, it's the first year out in the Shane anyway, so we're just trying to get as much experience in as we can. So it was an extra race that we could go in. So, but it's you have to keep your eyes on the mirrors anyway with them flying around,
It was nice to be out for such a prestigious race.
Yeah, if we give it a few years and then hopefully you get the name on the cup at some point,
And so the guests joined the regular boss racers in front of the pit garages. With the burble of engines, excitement was building for the 77th Leinster Trophy race, an accolade won by Ayrton Senna in 1982. If the sight of these cars heading out for battle doesn't get your heart racing, then nothing will. O'Connell takes up his pole position with Cian Carey alongside. Barry Rabbit just behind him. This was the grid for the race. A moment for the drivers to ponder the prize on offer. 1 minute to go and the grid is cleared. And off they go for a warm-up lap. That's Gary Graham getting a bump start with that starter issue as Mark Dempsey heads off. Someone is looking for a quick getaway. What a beautiful day for this great race. Gary Graham at the back there, hoping to pause for the least possible time. A stall for him would be disastrous. But they all get away successfully. At the end of the first lap, O'Connell already has a bit of an advantage over Carey. Rabbit is closer behind Keane. Allen is close behind Mullins. Then Roach streaks past with a good advantage over Cochran, and Blackburn making shapes on Courtney, and Shane Rabbit dicing with Faherty. Dwyer ahead of Matheson as they had finished race 1. O'Brien and McCourt close in the Lee Stones. Hines ahead of Daly, and Graham no doubt relieved to have got going. Carney hadn't made it around, so Adams was upholding Shane honour against Dempsey. Cian Carey was very much in touch with Paul O'Connell at the end of lap 2. Followed by Barry Rabbit. Sylvie Mullins making road ahead of Luca Allen. Michael Roach in 6th was well clear of the still very tight bunch behind Tom Cochran. Joe Courtney defending his position well from Colin Blackburn, who sets up for a look around the outside at the start of lap 3, with Fergus Faherty and Shane Rabbit watching intently. Peter Dwyer using the F3000 power to catch the pack on the straight. Eamon Matheson escaping Brendan O'Brien similarly. Morgan McCourt safely ahead of Cullum Hines, who must have made progress with his brake setup. Derek Daly was maintaining his advantage over Gary Graham, while Mark Dempsey was keeping tabs on Richie Adams. Entering the main straight on lap 3, and it looked much the same between the Delaras of O'Connell and Carey, but Mullins' Gould was closing on Rabbit's Formula Renault. Luca Allen in the Paul Dagg Delara looked secure in 5th. Roach's Delara was enjoying plenty of space, but Joe Courtney's was now clear of Cochran's Radical, as was the Lee Stone of Blackburn, with Faherty in another Delara getting a glimpse past the SR8, but didn't have the legs for the straight and had to defend the position from Shane Rabbit's Renault. Dwyer in the Lola had lost his straight line speed buddy Matheson, who stopped on this lap. In the Lee Stones, McCourt had closed right in on O'Brien, Hines blasting onto the straight in the Reynard. Daly's Delara had gone on this lap, leaving clear road for Graham's Renault. In the sole remaining Shane, Adams was being kept honest by the OMS of Mark Dempsey. By the last corner of lap 4, Carey was forcing O'Connell to defend his position. And Farmer's always telling us to keep the gates shut. Keane had his nose out at the beginning of lap 5 as Mullins passed Rabbit. Could Allen in 5th make ground during this tussle? Joe Courtney had closed right up on Michael Roach, and Colin Blackburn was really pushing the diminutive Leastone to stay in touch. Shane Rabbit was past Tom Cochran now. Dwyer's Lola sounding great as Fergus Faherty pulled into the pit lane. Back on track, and O'Brien appeared to have stretched ahead of McCourt. Colm Hines making all the right sounds in the 1988 Formula 3000 car, while Gary Graham's livery brings back memories in the sunshine. O'Connell's lead was looking a bit more secure at the end of lap 5, going into 6. Mullins too looked secure in 3rd ahead of Barry Rabbit. Allen was safely past backmarker Adams, who was having to watch his position from Dempsey on the same lap. Joe Courtney was really attacking for Michael Roach's 6th position. And Colin Blackburn was hugging the pit wall ahead of Fergus Faherty re-emerging from the lane as Shane Rabbit gives him plenty of space. Tom Cochran was still screaming round. Maybe Peter Dwyer could make a new sports car mate. Brendan O'Brien was definitely winning this Leastone battle from Morgan McCourt. They were 12th and 13th at this point. Colm Hines 14th and Gary Graham 15th. Paul O'Connell looked to be maintaining his advantage over Cian Carey with just over 10 minutes to go on the clock. Sylvie Mullins happily reunited with his Gould in 3rd place, while Rabbit must be wishing he could have completed the turbo installation since the last race. Luca Allen glad to be back racing after a long break from his competitions at the other side of the globe. 6th place Roach got past Adams and Dempsey, a bit better than Courtney, who had Blackburn right behind, making use of the situation. Shane Rabbit was also hoping to get past Dempsey before the end of the straight. Just listen to the radical turbo. Fergus Faherty was back in the pits again, where Richard Carney had unfortunately been since the opening lap. Brendan O'Brien passed Peter Dwyer earlier on this lap, and Morgan McCourt went past just here. Colm Hines had to pit, so Gary Graham inherited his position, as O'Connell appeared with Carey now right on his gearbox. Carey looking inside and outside at the beginning of lap 8. No change for 3rd, 4th or 5th place. Blackburn had passed Courtney and was now challenging Roach. As Shane Rabbit goes by, there was now a big gap to Tom Cochran. Tyre temperatures by now must have been affecting the bigger cars. Richie Adams looks to have made a bit of a gap from Mark Dempsey. I hope that's not smoke from the OMS. McCourt now quite a long way back from O'Brien. Peter Dwyer was enjoying another successful outing in the Lola. Cian Carey appeared ahead of Paul O'Connell at the end of lap 8. And Sylvie now was even seeing red. Luca Allen pitted at this point, so Michael Roach was now defending 5th from Blackburn. But this gave Courtney the chance to go round the outside of the Leastone and almost past Roach at the beginning of a lap 9. Unfortunately, the continuation of this manoeuvre led to contact with Roach, and a spin with suspension damage left Courtney stranded on the outside of turn 2, and the red flags came out while many drivers were completing lap 8. In this situation, the final results were based on positions at the end of lap 7. A very tough outcome for past winner of the trophy, Cian Carey, who had taken the lead on lap 8. So this was the finishing order, and a dream come true for Paul O'Connell, who puts his name on the coveted silver for the first time. A few words from the surprised race winner.
We're having trouble with the paddle shift for the last couple of days, and just wouldn't skip down a gear, and I ended up in neutral in the middle of the S's, and Keane just got a run of me, and that was the end of it. Geez, it was some battle there. The rear tyres are really starting to go off. I was pushing the car really hard. Front and rear tyres were in trouble. I was on the grass numerous times trying to stay ahead of Keane. He was pushing me, he was just hunting me down, something unreal. It's a very rough way for Keane to not win. To be fair, I'd just like to say that he's a great driver, and I'm fortunate with the red flag has worked out in my favour. There again, and plenty of other years in the Leinster Trophy, things haven't gone my way, so I'll take whatever luck I can get on this particular day. But fantastic! Huge thanks to Leinster Motor Club and Mondello Park for a fantastic, well-run and safe event in these COVID times. My own crew, Brendan Stone and Stone Motorsport, just could not be done without them. Joe Power, Owen Noonan was with me today, Ger O'Connor was with me timing and testing, and my wife and my kids. Big shout out to them, because it just couldn't happen without them. So fantastic, I'm blown away, and beyond dreams really.
Okay, Paul, look, thanks a million for those. Congratulations to the Leinster Motor Club. It's a great event. You've been trying to get it for a long time. So, look, here you go.
No. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Very much.
Well done, Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
You got your? Oh, I got it, Paul.
That's what one is.
You got your phone?
It's on the next one.